Good afternoon to President Fisher, faculty and staff, visitors, family, friends, and ultimately to the graduating class 2011. Throughout the Bible, we see that we're going to suffer. With this being said, I truly believe that God had a plan for me through the various trials I faced while being here. As a musician, I've had to make decisions and sacrifices that made a big impact on my career. I believe that being at Belmont has helped shape those decisions. Since the age of 8, I served as a drummer and organist at my home church. You would think growing up in church, though, that you would be spiritually fulfilled and content. Well, that wasn't the case, but I didn't realize this until I got to Belmont. Belmont is a unique school in that it encourages you to practice your faith in real-world situations. They offer events and speakers that give you insight on exactly how to do this. I love the environment here. It's just a great environment. I love the students here. I love the faculty. And just being here and taking classes taught me how to look at the Bible objectively in an academic setting. When I got to Belmont, I was able to see another side of serving God that I've never seen before. Through a variety of worship opportunities and the many community service opportunities like Room in the Inn and Into Nashville, I got to see how other students worship and serve God. By the time I reached my sophomore year, I'd gotten bored and upset with church life that seemed to be based only on tradition and ritual act of worship. I was no longer satisfied with this because God wants a true relationship with us, not a ritual act of worship. Psalms 51:16-17 states, "For thou desirest not sacrifice, else I will give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart, O God, thou wilt not despise." The second semester of my junior year, I received a Facebook message from a dynamic church. They were looking for an organist, and I had been highly recommended. This was the challenge musically and spiritually that I needed and I was looking for. The only thing that was holding me back was if I left the first church, my home church, then I would lose all means of support. That means I wouldn't have a car, I wouldn't have food, I wouldn't have money, I wouldn't have anything. Well, I prayed and asked God for guidance, and because I've never faced anything this intense in my life. In the midst of all this, though, I was reminded of the story of how Peter and the disciples were on the boat in the midst of a terrible storm. To me, the boat represents this place of complacency and safety, because who in their right mind will step out of a boat with all that bad weather going on around them? A person of faith. Out of all the disciples, Peter took that step. However, Peter began to lose sight of God when he started to focus more on the troubles rather than on Jesus. When he stepped out of the boat, he looked around and started to be afraid of the storm and began to sink. That related to me. I started facing real-world problems like, where am I going to live? How am I going to eat? How am I going to make money? Well, with all that in mind, I started focusing more on the problems and less on my God. Well, Peter cried, saying, "Lord, save me." Then immediately Jesus rescued him. But Jesus then asked him, "O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt?" Peter did take that step of faith, knowing God would protect him, but he let fear outweigh his faith. Fear causes us to sink, but faith allows us to rise above. When you lose sight of God, when you let the problems overtake you, then you will sink. But Jesus is always there to catch you. Well, 2 years later, I'm in a good place now. Thanks to my time at Belmont, I've been able to produce and perform in the genres of R&B, jazz, country, pop, and gospel. Many doors have been opened for me, such as going on tours, producing music artists, producing a few Belmont students here, and playing and sharing the stage with gospel artists such as Kirk Franklin, Ty Tribbett, going on tour playing a show with Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, and forming lifelong relationships. Now we're about to graduate, and I want to thank Belmont for the experience I've had here and for showing me how to have a true relationship with God. Thank you.